and this is a gear check video of everything that I had for the Hellenic mountain race. So first of all, this is my Trek Procaliber 9.9 Race Shop Limited. Cannot fault the bike, it is unbelievably good. So let's take a look at what I had in the bags. I've jumbled together just a bunch of bike packing bags that I have, and also some pretty high-tech stuff that I got from Old.Man mountain. So here I have a Swift Industries stem bag that I used for a trip in Canada. Here I have a Brooks long top tube bag that I also used for the same trip in Canada. Here is a Restrap large frame bag, the Old.Man Atlas pack, the Atlas rack pack that's very new, and the Old.Man Elkhorn rack. On top of that I have a dry bag with a Puffy jacket in and my waterproof on the side. As well as that, I had this Salomon Sense backpack. It's 12 litres in there. I had a 2 litre bladder, and in there I had a dry bag with essentials that I needed on the bike. So that was like, let's see what I got in there. So this is just an Amazon waterproof dry bag. I don't know how waterproof it is, but it seems to work. So I had overshoes. One thing to do before you go on the races, make sure your overshoes fit. These really didn't fit that well. It was a real stretch getting them on. As you can see, I've kind of knackered them. I think they're just some sealskin overshoes. Some Altura winter gloves. I got these just before the race. Never used them before. They were excellent. I get quite cold hands. Some Madison thermal arm and leg warmers. I used them a couple of times. They were great. Some Duro small gloves. I actually hate wearing gloves. I did a ride in New Zealand earlier in the year, and I didn't have any gloves, and a very kind bike packer going the other way had a spare set of gloves, and she gave them to me because my hands were red raw and all the skin was coming off. So thanks very much, Gretchen. The vest is 12 litres. I actually stashed so much stuff in here. I had my phone, wallet, extra cash, electrolytes, stuff like that. So the on-bike kit I wore these Shimano EX3, just sort of trainery SPD shoes. I absolutely knackered the bottom of them. They're really soft, and by the end my ankles are so swollen. I'm not sure I'd use these again. I mean, they're knackered, so I'm getting some new ones, or different ones. I don't like to ride with bibs, so I have a Brooks saddle, which I'll show at the end. It's not on this bike, it's on a different one, but I use a Brooks B17 leather saddle. And then with that I just wear these Quicksilver boardies. I've used them for years, really comfortable, never get saddle sores. Yeah, I just don't use bibs. And then with that I've had these Patagonia Capeline t-shirts. It's their sort of don't stink, quick dry t-shirts. I got given them by some friends in Canada, and I bought a couple of them. They're amazing. So Smith Session helmet, had it for ages, seems to work. And I just wore a hat underneath to stop my sweat going in my eyes. I've got some photochromatic glasses. They are now absolutely buggered, but they were fine before the race. So that's the stuff that I actually wore. Let's see what was in the bags. So in the stem bag, I just used that for snacks, and I had an extra Salomon soft flask, which worked fine. I had 2 litres on my back, 1 litre bottle here, which I did lose towards the end. I just left it somewhere, I was just knackered. And I had a 500ml bottle for emergencies. I never actually needed it. And I think 3.5 litres is more than enough. You could probably get away with 2 if you're quite good with drinking, but 3 litres was pretty good. So let's see what I had in the bags. So in my top tube bag, I actually carried some extra salt. I'm a bit of a salty sweater. Someone suggested this to me once, and I just chucked the salt in with bits of water, and it's fine. I haven't bonked yet from electrolytes in ages. Here's the remainder of the Sturka salt tabs that they gave us at the beginning. Really good. I listen to a lot of music. Here was just a set of wired headphones. I had 2 sets of these. As soon as it got tough, listening to music. This is just extra charging cables for my lights and an extra set of headphones. This is a Nightcore headlamp. I did use this like paired with my exposure joystick on my helmet, just for like setting my camp up and stuff like that. It's really good. It has, you can put AAA batteries in there, and it also has a rechargeable battery. Charges so quick. In there I've got an old snowboard lock that I planned on using if I need to lock the bike, but never used it, so pointless. Here's like my medical stuff. In here was rehydration salts, paracetamol, ibuprofen, some wound dressing and some super glue. I also have a titanium spoon that I didn't use once, toothbrush, toothpaste, which I did use, and some sunstick, and I also had some sun cream in here. And that was about it in my top tube bag. In my frame bag, now it's empty, but it was stuffed full of gels. They were Sturka gels, Never Second gels, and some High Five nutrition gels. The Never Second ones were pretty grim taste. I like the passion fruit ones, but the rest of them I didn't like. I had some of their carb powder, that was decent, the orange one, and Sturka stuff was really nice. I really liked the rice bars. They came in handy, and I actually saved quite a few of them for the last 200k of no resupply. In here I've just got some old Patagonia rain pants that I got from a thrift store in Canada. They work, I've had them for years. Didn't really wear them, but as soon as I put them on I get a little bit hot, so I'm not sure if I'll take them for the next event. Down here are just some cleanliness wipes. I had 2 packs of these. Here are some of they're just muck off plastic gloves for doing mechanic stuff. I like to have these if I'm going to get messy fixing something, but also because it helps keep your hands warm and my circulation is crap. Oh, in here is the cover for my trusty Brooks saddle. You're not really supposed to get it wet, but I'm always too lazy to put it on. So here are the 2 inner tubes that I idiotically didn't check the length of the valves before the race. I had a real mission trying to get these on with my rims, but it did work in the end. But yeah, check your valve length. So this is my first time using the Atlas pack, very kindly given to me by Old.Man Mountain. Got a lot of stuff in there, and also I really like the elastic on top because I ended up carrying more than I thought. So I always have my waterproof jacket to hand. Here is it's like a 7 mesh co-pilot jacket that I got in a thrift store in Canada. Had it for years, still waterproof. Haven't got wet in it yet. It's really, really good. On here is just an old dry bag, X-Bed dry bag, and in here I got it's a passenger synthetic puffy jacket. I've had this for ages. It's got quite a few holes in it, a few cigarette burns, but it sort of does the job. It doesn't pack down so well. If they do another one that stuff's a bit better, maybe I'll try and get that. It really is a little bit big, but I wore it quite a lot. I wore it sleeve and wore it when I got cold. In the Atlas rack pack, I had spare clothes, I had a spare top, spare socks, spare boxes. Here is the Soul emergency bivvy. I was going to take an out kit bivvy with me, but then you have to have an emergency blanket on the kit list anyway, so I just thought, what's the point in having 2? I was a bit nervous about taking just the emergency bivvy, but it was absolutely fun. In here, I think, is my sleep kit that I never used. It just was a pillow, so spare socks, spare thermal leggings, and a merino thermal top, a DHB one. It's really good, but I didn't use it. It just acted as a pillow. What else? Oh, here's a Outkit cloud base sleeping mat. It hasn't got a massive R value. I think it's 1.7, so it keeps you kind of warm. I got it for a trip in New Zealand earlier in the year. Did the job. It's quite comfortable, packs down pretty small. And then finally, this was my luxury item. So it's a Featherstone Moondance quilt. You can zip 3/4 zip it up, so it's like a sleep bag, but I like to be sort of free so I can move around and roll over. I think it's rated down to 0 degrees. It's really warm, really comfortable. It is a little bit bougie, but I'm glad I had it. On here, there's a couple of things that are not on here because I've moved them across to my gravel bike as I'm getting ready for my next race. My Garmin power pedals, which have a really long battery life, so very good for an ultra. I've moved across my Brooks saddle, B17, super comfy, can't fault it, it's like sitting on a cloud. I've tried other ones, I've also got an Ergon SMC core, that is really good, but not quite as plush. The Garmin power pedals, I use them as reference, probably should refer to them a bit more, but there you go. This is the toolkit that I used for the race. It's just a Topeak wedge bag. I've had this since I started cycling. It's done some miles, it's a bit knackered, but it works. So in here we've got some tyre boots, Park Tool tyre boots. This is a new multi-tool. I actually broke my last multi-tool in the race because I hit a tree, and that's when I lost my GoPro. This is a different tool. Some tubeless sealant, it's just some PT's tubeless sealant in a Stan's bottle. The Stan's dart tool, and I had some spares for that. Tyre levers, tyre lever. That's a different inner tube. Wolf tooth chain link pliers with some spare chain links inside. I had 2 canisters. This is a new one, but I had 2 canisters. I went through them both. Valve core tool. I also had a derailleur hanger for the bike. These are some spare SPDs. Had 2 sets of brake pads that I changed on the 4th morning. Some electrical tape, it's just always useful. Spare bit of chain, just because. Spare tubeless valve, obviously didn't use it. And gear cable and spare cable for the fork. So for lights, I went with exposure lights. I haven't done that much riding at night, and when I have, I've just used any old small little average lights. So I finally got some exposure lights and they were fantastic. This is the Exposure Toro. I used it on low setting and didn't have to charge it once. I also had an exposure joystick for my helmet, and also I used that Nightcore head torch. For bike computer, I've got a Coros Dura. Before the race, I don't think I'd charged it since February, and I've obviously been riding quite a lot in preparation for the race. I had the Ergon GP3 grips. They've got quite big fins on them to support your hands. They are really, really good. I think I had them too flat because I still can't really feel my little fingers too much, and I think it's like 3.5 weeks since the race. Normally they seem absolutely fine, so I think I just need to adjust the level of those. I was a little bit nervous about using something new for a race. Obviously, you haven't really tested it too much. I was worried that the pack with these straps would move around a lot, especially on some of the descents, and maybe fly off. But I've got to say, I actually had, it was almost immovable, and with the descents on the Hellenic, I really thought that I'd lose the pack at some point, so I kept checking, but it never moved once. So, can't fault the bag. That's about it. So yeah, that's my gear check video. It is jumbled together of a bunch of stuff that I had for ages and some things that I got for the race. I could have made the kit a little bit lighter. I'm not sure if I needed my puffy jacket. I could have maybe taken like a fleece. I definitely didn't need the sleek kit. I also had a spare jersey from my buddy who runs a shop called the Cycling Route in Corfu. He also serviced my bike just for the race. So, cheers. That's about it.